And welcome to this ordinary meeting of Council, Thursday the 11th of December 2025. Just a reminder that this meeting is being recorded and is live streamed on Council's YouTube channel. Is this not working? Is that better?
It's working. Closer.
How about now? Now? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
1, 2, 3. Excellent. Start again. Good morning and welcome to this ordinary meeting of Council, Thursday the 11th of December 2025. A reminder that this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on Council's YouTube channel. Please stand for the opening karakia. Tu taua mai i runga, tu taua mai i runga, tu taua mai i roto, tu taua mai i waho. Kia tau ai te mauri tū, te mauri ora, ki te katoa, whanu e, hui e, tai e. I have no apologies today. We have a full house. Are there any conflicts of interest to declare by any of the councillors? Sorry guys, we're just going to try and balance this microphone. You still hear it? Still here? Yep. We have a presentation in the public forum today. I'd like to welcome Cindy Logan, who is the principal of Bledisloe School in Taradale. Cindy has some safety concerns that she'd like to speak to us about today, and she's brought some of her students with her. Welcome, Cindy.
Ki ngā mana, ki ngā reo, tēnā koutou katoa. Ka te mihi atu ki ngā mana whenua o tēnei whenua. Kia kaha tātou. Kia ora. Ka te mihi atu ki te maunga hakurangi, ki te pātū watawata o Tātara, ki te awa o Tūtaikori e rere ana. Ka huri aku mihi ki te marae o Waiōhiki, ki ngā hapu o Ngāti Pārau, me ngai tahuahi. Ki ngā mana whenua o ēnei whenua taurikora o te kora a Bledisloe. Ko Waikato, ko Stella Riley, a rātou ko Holly Edwards, ko Zoe Robertson, ko rangatira o te kura o Bledisloe, ko kaiawhina rātou o te ruri a Meani Road I tēnei tau. Ko Cindy Logan tōku ingoa, ko Tumuaki o te kura o Bledisloe. We have some concerns about the Meani Road, Murphy Road, Fairhaven Driveway, Taradale Intermediate, Taradale High School, Bledisloe School, all out on our road at 8:30 in the morning and again at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Our road patrollers here have had to physically save lives by grabbing our tamariki to keep them back from the road. I have concerns about the flow of traffic coming down Meani Road and our whānau trying to turn into our school driveway, and there's only one lane there. So the other cars are coming up the rear of our vehicles and then it's creating a massive blockage and there's no entrance into our driveway. I have requested that yellow lines be painted in front of our school driveway so that no one stops there so our cars can continue to come into our school driveway and can exit easily. I have been told that's not a possibility. I'm unsure why when I see them out the front of the fire station in Taradale and I see them out the back of the Foursquare in Green Meadows. Both driveway entrances are close to lights, so I'm unsure of why that's not a possibility. Just yesterday, one of our staff members was coming down Murphy Road. She was turning left to come into down Meani Road to head into our school. The light went orange and somebody in a named vehicle proceeded to go on the right-hand side of her and drive through the red light. I won't name that vehicle because it might be a little bit close to home. I've had a text message this morning from a staff member who was out on road patrol. She said, I know you're going to a council meeting. We have had another near miss this morning. It's constant. I don't know what it's going to take for something to be done, a kid to be killed, these kids to have to constantly stop them. When they start road patrol, they're 9 and 10 years old. They're now 11, but they're just babies. Out the back of our kura, over by the Otatara Bowling Club, is a massive green space area. We were told a couple of years ago that we couldn't have access to that because a bowling club was coming to be built there. I don't know where that currently sits with council, if the new earthquake regulations has meant that's no longer going to be built there. But another solution that could be brought to the table would be that the entranceway into the Otatara Bowling Club could be widened, that green space turned into a parking area for the businesses in Taradale and a drop-off zone for our Bledisloe whānau to keep our kids safe. It would mean then that Meani Road is less congested because we would almost be eliminated from the equation and we would just have Taradale Intermediate, Taradale High School and Fairhaven using that space. So if that green space is an option, we did used to have a key to the gate. We no longer have a key to the gate, so I just don't understand how we can continue to let this happen for our tamariki. The roads are busier, the schools are busier, there's more tamariki, so please let's not get to that point where we're going to lose someone. The girls might have some incidences that they would like to share. They're very nervous. So they've just come off Splash Planet, they've just come off Optimus Yachting, there's fatigue setting in. So girls, if there's any incidences that you'd like to share, you're more than welcome to.
There has been many times that we have had
Sorry.
to stop.
Don't want to stop you, but could you just move the microphone closer so that people can hear? Awesome. Thank you.
There has been many times we have had to stop our tamariki from crossing the road because cars have been running the red lights and it's quite scary.
Okay. So yes, it's real for them.
Yeah.
They're having to put their arms out. At times we're having to grab kids. So it's something needs to be done because I would hate for it to sit now, on council shoulders that we lose somebody. So however this proceeds, I've given two possible solutions: the green space out the back of our school, or yellow lines on the road, or preferably both. And if those solutions don't work for you, please bring one to us. Because that's what I would love to hear.
Yep. All right, well, I'll open it up for any of our councillors who may have some questions. No?
Through the Mayor, thank you so much for attending today, and I acknowledge that is quite a traumatic instance for our tamariki to experience, but also the community there. So I'd just like to know, have you spoken to anyone else in council, and how was that met regarding this kaupapa?
Okay, so it's my understanding that the tūmawake before me, Carol Bevis, I've been in the job a year and a half now. It's my understanding that Carol also submitted to council about the use of the green space, and it was when we were told that it couldn't be used because of the bowling indoor bowls that were supposed to be built there. And I have approached council, I think 6 months ago, requesting the yellow lines be painted in front, and was just told no. So yeah, that would be the other request we've put in.
Councillor
you.
Lawrence, did you have questions?
Yes, through the Mayor. I'm just having a look on Google Maps just so I can get a visual. So is that green space the access through Lee Road or
That's
Petty
right. It's
Lee
through
Road?
Lee Road,
Yeah.
yeah. So the entranceway into that Lee Road bowling club, though, is very narrow. It's only designed for one car.
Okay.
But, to serve the people of Taradale, it could become a car parking area for the businesses in Taradale so that then the shops are getting more custom.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Councillor Ray Hania.
Through the Mayor, Morena.
Morena.
Morena koutou. Not a question, I just want to acknowledge tō koutou kaha ki te haramai ki te kōrero kia mātou i tēnei ata, and thank you for your service. Your mahi and role patrol was very important. So just want to highly acknowledge you three and Fire for coming this morning to speak to us, and it's highly noted. It's the first time I've heard about it, so I'm sure it'll be a high priority kōrero within council. So tēnā koutou katoa.
Councillor Crystal.
Just through the Mayor, I'm very aware of this situation. I know a group of Bledisloe kids presented to us at our long-term plan a few years ago with the high school kids and the intermediate, which was very powerful, and we actually applied to a government fund to do something, and we didn't achieve that. And it seems to have, I know I've put forward about the yellow lines, and that didn't go anywhere, so I think we need to maybe get a working group or with the school and other people, our staff and some Taradale councillors to try and work out how this is going to move forward, because it is an issue. My kids went to the intermediate, and I totally understand and have witnessed what goes on. It's absolute mayhem.
Councillor Taylor, is it a question?
I'd like to make a comment.
Well, what I'm looking to do is bring this back as a minor matter later on in the meeting. Procedurally, it's deemed a minor. Procedurally, it comes in under a minor matter because we can't make resolutions.
Yeah.
What it does, it actually puts it on our paper as opposed to just listening to your crew today. So it means we'll have a discussion about it later on and come up with some action points, which we can't do just through a forum. So, question or comment?
No, you've just said exactly what I was going to say. Thank you.
Yeah, yep. Deputy Mayor Crown.
Thank you, through the Mayor. I'm also aware that staff in the organisation are working on this, so that will help to inform our discussion when we actually are able to give it the time and the energy that it deserves in our agenda later on. And I understand that they're intending to very much communicate back to the school and the kura in the area as well. So just wanted to give you that assurance.
Thank you.
Kia ora koutou. Kia kata mana whenua i tēnei rā, ne?
Kia ora, e nā koe.
Do I need to officially call that back if I've done enough there? Cool. Right, moving on through our agenda. No announcements by myself. Any announcements by management?
None.
Nothing. And we've added a discussion on this in the minor matter section. Right, confirmation of minutes. I put the motion that the draft minutes of the ordinary meeting of council held on Thursday, 6th of November 2025 be confirmed as a true and accurate record of the meeting. These are on page 105 of your agenda, and also the draft minutes of the extraordinary meeting of council held on Tuesday, the 25th of November 2025 be confirmed as a true and accurate record of the meeting. They can be found on page 123 of the agenda. Can I have a mover and a seconder for the minutes? Councillor Mawson and Councillor Taylor. Thank you. I'll now, all those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Right. Agenda items. Please note that the following, please note the following. The chairperson's decision under Standing Orders 9.4, the items on the agenda will be taken out of order. First up this morning, we're going to do the council terms of reference and delegations for the 2025 to 2028 triennium, and then the remaining supplementary papers, the rest of the agenda will proceed in order. Where do I find my... Yeah. Right. So our first item today, council terms of reference and delegations for the 2025 to 2028 triennium, page 118 of your supplementary agenda. The presenter for this report is Anna Eadie. And also we have Jane and Rachel joining Anna this morning.
Kia ora koutou. The purpose of this report is to present the council committees, subcommittees and panels of council terms of reference and delegations as made by the Mayor for the 2025-28 triennium for approval. This is a bit of an extension of a report from our November meeting. You'll note that the Mayor has made some changes to the committee structure since that meeting, and they're outlined in the recommendation. Notably that the 3-year Partnership Fund Committee will meet 6-monthly rather than yearly, and that the People and Community Subcommittee and Arts and Culture Subcommittee have been combined into the People, Arts and Community Panel in order to ensure a more fulsome agenda and to maximise the use of elected member and officer time. There have also been some additional appointments made by the Mayor and some amendments to appointments, and they're listed in the resolution. And lastly, you will see the Mayor's finalised councillor portfolios and appointments. Just a note that we're recommending an amendment to Councillor Mawson's portfolio, the name of it from age-friendly and disability to age-friendly and accessibility. It should be noted that councils are not required to maintain the same governance structure in terms of reference for the whole triennium. If it is found the structure does not support the council objectives and requirements, amendments can be made. We're happy to take questions on process. Any questions in regards to the appointments or the content of the terms of reference, the Mayor will be best placed to answer those.
Councillor Raihania.
Through the Mayor, Morena Ena.
Morena.
I'm speaking specifically to the section in the terms of reference that states the committee terms of reference will remain the same as last triennium pending review with a notable difference that Ngā Mānukunuka o Te Iwi will not nominate voting members to standing committees. So Mike, I have about 4 or 5 questions
Yep.
that I'd like to answer. My first question is, which might be best suited for the Mayor to answer, what consultation with mana whenua occurred before proposing the change, and could the Mayor outline step by step the process followed to arrive at the decision to amend?
As stated by Anna, the committees don't roll over, so it is a new structure, so it hasn't been amended, it's a new structure that has been appointed. What was your
Yep, so the step-by-step process that the Mayor took in terms of consultation, advice that was sourced to come up with the amended change?
the minimal consultation, I have to say, as it was a new committee structure. I had spoken to Bev and Mātua, Matt, and as the Mayor, I've put the structure together for all the committees and then put it around the table here.
Just to add on to that question, could you advise what source of governance and cultural advice was given to inform the change?
Again, not a change, a new committee set up.
Committee set up, yeah.
Yep. I've spoken with our governance team and to seek information, and just the other day, and I've done a little bit of reading from the local government information that I had.
My next question, was there a problem or failure that this change intended to fix in terms of the Ngā Mānukunuka o Te Iwi Committee from last triennium?
Again, not a change, a new committee. So that wasn't part of my thinking.
Two more questions. And a question just around risk. Was any risk assessment on the potential treaty, reputational, relational outcomes assessed?
I don't believe so.
Was there a reason why not?
Can't think of one.
Through the chair, I would like to foreshadow an amendment.
Okay, yep. Deputy Mayor Crown.
Through the Mayor, I'm happy to be guided procedurally, but I also had further questions. I'm wondering what comes next.
Yeah,
I also have further questions.
okay. Well,
So as the chair of the meeting, what is your suggestion as to what you would like to hear next? Is it questions or would you like to hear?
it will be questions.
Okay, thank you. So through you, given that Part 6, Section 81 of the Local Government Act, Part A says that we have a responsibility to establish and maintain processes to provide opportunities for Māori to contribute to the decision-making processes of this council. What alternative models for Māori participation were considered before recommending the removal of appointed members? So this is aside from the structure, this is the removal.
I haven't removed anything. This is a new council committee. The old council committee was dissolved at the end of the triennium.
A point of order. My understanding is that actually our standing orders allow for the status quo to be carried through until we make this decision. And so we are actually operating under those terms at the moment. And so my question stands that, I would have expected that there would have been some consideration around what alternative models for Māori participation were considered before the proposal came to us here at this table.
I've certainly looked at other models around, such as Nelson, Rotorua, and some various other places. And I gave the assurance to Fire Bev the other day that I would go and look at some of the models, and I believe I've done that.
Then I suppose my subsequent question to that is, why would you do that and not amend the position in the paper if those things are still to be considered, so that there is a fulsome decision that is being able to be considered here today?
It hasn't changed my decision-making at all, other than that I did go back and relook. The reason for my decision was to have elected members around the decision-making resolution committees and full council who have sworn an oath to the City of Napier and to uphold the Local Government Act.
Kia ora, one more subsequent question, thank you, through you, Mr Mayor. Given the amount and the scale of the national reform that we have underway at the moment, did you consider the need for heightened specialist mana whenua knowledge in precisely these areas of reform, and how we as elected members would have access to that specialist knowledge in informing and supporting our decision-making processes?
At this stage, all the reforms are just out for consultation and very early days. And within our council, we have other mechanisms for participation and involvement and partnership to continue.
I'll let you go for now.
Oh, let me go for now.
Through the Mayor, has any independent legal or governance advice been shared with any of the councillors confirming that removing mana whenua will not breach treaty principles or expose council to challenge or review?
Again, this is a new committee structure and no one has been removed. This is the proposal for the structure today.
So, was that a no?
You know.
Subsequent questions. What evidence or report supports the claim that Māori ward councillors can replace mana whenua representation when their roles, mandates and legal authorities are not the same? Obviously, I'm pre-proposing this. I have a feeling that Shai and I might be the ones that become the response to mana whenua not being available.
What was the question in that? Sorry?
What evidence or report supports the claim that Māori ward councillors can replace mana whenua representation?
Okay, where was the claim from?
I'm stating that I feel this is a future claim that will be imposed upon Shai and I should mana whenua not be available at the table.
I can't answer that if it's a future claim that you feel could happen.
Before proposing removal, what performance evidence has been presented showing mana whenua governance failure, and what induction or support did council provide to ensure success?
again, that was never part of the thinking of why I've reformed a committee without this structure.
A further question through the Mayor. Local experts were asked to present and speak to the discussion. Could I please have some justification of why they were denied, and do you consider this as good governance practice?
It's a choice of the chair of the meeting who comes up and speaks in the public forum. And we already had a public forum today, and I've chosen just to leave it at that.
Point of order, Mr Chair. According to our standing orders, there are two types of public forum. There's the public forum and there is a delegations. Both of those stipulations include the reasons why someone can be declined the opportunity to speak in those forums, and I couldn't find that the chair's discretion overrules that, and so just looking to our governance team for some confirmation whether that is true or whether it's our standing orders that provide that. So section 15, section 16.
Sorry for the delay. Through the chair. So public forums or deputations enable members of the public to bring items of their choice to the attention of the council. There's obviously time limits, but requests to speak must be made and must outline the items that will be addressed by the speakers. The chairperson has discretion around speaking time and the number of speakers allowed. I can't actually find the bit that you're referring to, sorry, Deputy Mayor.
I guess I'm just questioning the validity of or whether the chair's discretion overrides what is in our standing orders in that regard, and wondering whether the request met the threshold for consideration and whether any reason was provided to the speakers, the requesters, as to why they weren't able to speak here this morning.
There's no particular threshold specified in standing orders. Generally, there can be up to, sorry, what part are you? Oh, yeah, that's a timing thing.
I think we might just leave it at that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think in standing orders there is no specified threshold.
Thank you.
Or requirement for a reason.
Thank you.
Councillor Mawson.
Just through the Mayor, you mentioned that you looked at other models. Are you able to just elaborate briefly on what some of those other models are, please?
From memory, the Nelson model doesn't have a committee, just meets with iwi regularly throughout the year. And from what I've been shown, Rotorua doesn't have a committee or anything formally in place either.
Sorry, through the Mayor. So I provided a quick survey to the Mayor a few days ago about whether there were iwi or mana whenua reps on decision-making bodies of council. So just highlighting that Rotorua and the other council you may speak about potentially do have other things in place. They do not have iwi representation on their decision-making committees.
Thank you.
Through the Mayor. Thank you so much for going away and doing some due diligence regarding your position on the stance. When were you going to share those findings with any of the councillors and, in fact, the public? When was the public going to be able to consult on these findings that you've found during your researching process?
A lot of this work has been done just in the last couple of days since I've met with Bev and a few others in my office, where I said I would go away and do a bit more due diligence. Yep. Councillor Taylor.
Your Worship, just a cut to the chase question, I suppose. What is the fundamental philosophical reason for making the alteration from the previous triennium to this triennium? What is the fundamental reason or philosophical reason for members of Ngā Nuku not sitting on our standing committees?
Yep. For me, it comes down to, as I said before, having elected members who have sworn an oath to the City of Napier and to uphold the Local Government Act. These, as a rule, we attend all the workshops, all the pre-work, the induction process, and we come with, I'll leave it at that.
Through the Mayor, I'm finding that a little bit difficult to swallow, considering that in the Local Government Act there is space there for Māori representation, and legally mana whenua are considered the cultural and environmental specialists. Please help me understand what you're thinking.
I've explained my thinking. Are there any further questions?
Yes, sorry.
Councillor Price.
I just want to Whare to elaborate on her view on mana whenua on council with the two Māori representatives. Are you not representatives of mana whenua or?
No.
Thank you so much for asking, Keith. Actually, I represent the whole community, as well as mana whenua and Māori. We are a diverse community, and the Māori wards, just for your own knowledge to the public, we're the only councillors that cross right through the city. So, no, I'm also here to represent the wider community. Thank you for asking, Councillor Price.
Yeah, thank you. It was good to get applause for answering that question. Thank you.
Just a last question, Mr Mayor.
Yep. Councillor Rahania.
Just for clarity, question for clarity. Does reducing mana whenua representation at the committee level, does it strengthen or weaken participation in decision making? And a one-word answer is sufficient: strengthen or weaken.
Yet to be determined.
But does it strengthen or weaken?
Well, there's no measure to tell that at this stage. Right. Any further questions? Councillor Simpson.
Not on that matter, on another matter?
No.
Is it regarding
Appointments, but not the specific debate that you're talking about. I'm just raising it.
Yep,
just so you
certainly.
know
Yep.
that I want
Yeah,
to-
no, absolutely. Yep.
So the other question I had was around the removal of Councillor Crystal from the Creative Arts Napier position.
Yep. Councillor Crystal has tendered her resignation with me from that committee. There's been a few questions and queries with regards to the governance structure of Creative Arts, and we're just holding off until we reappoint another councillor to that position. Yeah. Now, Councillor Rahania, you were foreshadowing an amendment. I'm not going to accept that at this stage, and because I'm going to move the agenda item myself, and I'm going to call for a seconder. If the vote is lost, then I will come back to you. I believe that is the process.
You actually accepted the foreshadow through the Mayor when she said it. You did. Nodded your head.
Through the chair, if I could just clarify process. So you've introduced the amendment, and then if there is proposed foreshadowed alternate amendment, that needs to be put first. And then if that fails, then you fall back to your original amendment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, happy to.
Do that, can I ask?
Yep, finished with questions. You guys can step away if you like. So Councillor Raihania, you have a foreshadowed motion that you want to put forward?
Yes, I wish to move an amendment under Standing Order 23.6 that Council approve the Council committees, subcommittees and panel terms of reference and delegations as outlined in Attachment 1, namely that under the whanga or purpose of Ngā Mā Nukunuku o Te Iwi Committee terms of reference, that the following be added. That Council reinstate mana whenua representation on Ngā Mā Nukunuku o Te Iwi Committee by nominating from amongst its members 2 representatives who it considers appropriate for the Council to appoint as voting members on the Delivery and Regulatory Standing Committee and Corporate Performance Committee.
Can I call for a seconder? Deputy Mayor Crown?
Excuse me, I'd just like to finesse that further, if I may, Councillor Raihania, and suggest some additional points to the amended motion.
Yes, you
Are you
can.
comfortable? Thank you. Adding to that, I'd also like us to note the Council's obligations under the Local Government Act sections 4, 14 and 81 to maintain processes that enable Māori participation in decision making. Requests officers to engage with Ngā Mā Nukunuku o Te Iwi members as mandated mana whenua representatives and return with a revised terms of reference, including the options analysis and legal advice, so that all elected members can consider that.
Any discussion on what we've just heard? Right, I'll now put the motion.
Can we speak to the motion, Mr Chair?
For debate, yes.
Thank you.
Would the mover
Would the
like to
mover-
speak to
Yes.
the motion?
Yes. A voice with no vote is not partnership, it's consultation. And consultation is not te tiriti. Māori do not ask to be heard, they ask to be included in decision making. And if partnership is real, it lives in the vote. If partnership is symbolic, it lives in the minutes. Our decision today will show which one this council believes in. This will shape how mana whenua trust us or not, how the public see us or does not, and how future councils must rebuild the way we undo what we may undo today. Some decisions are administrative, this one's generational.
Deputy Mayor Crown?
Thank you, Mr Chair. Before, I would actually like to reserve my right to speak, and I would also like to request that we suspend Standing Order Section 21.6, limits on numbers of speakers to allow for all members, should they wish to contribute their thoughts and reasons to the motion.
Certainly, no problem with that.
Thank you. I'll reserve my right to speak and open the floor for others to share their thoughts.
Would anyone else like to speak? Councillor Taylor.
Through you, Your Worship. Yes, having been on council for some considerable time now, I reflect on the journey that this council has taken from some time ago to the introduction of Māori wards and the inclusion of members of Ngā Nukunuku onto standing committees. I have, in that period of time, had a journey of learning, and I acknowledge that. I believe now, through other governance roles, that I also have a greater understanding of a Māori worldview. There's been mention today already that we have, although the Te Tiriti does not directly mention local government, for the obvious reason that in 1840 there was no local government, New Zealand law and policy requires local government to act consistently with the treaty principles. The Local Government Act, in particular Part 6, states councils must provide opportunities for Māori to contribute to decision making, build processes for consultation with Māori, and consider ways to foster Māori capacity to engage with local government. I believe that what has been put before us originally today prior to the amendment did not meet that requirement. And I am going to foreshadow a further amendment should this amendment be lost. So I'm speaking in favour of the amendment, and I foreshadow that I will put a further amendment should this be lost.
Would anyone else like to speak? Councillor Lawrence.
I just want to acknowledge, as a new elected member, I hadn't realised that there was a change. Is this something that we could look at to be able to discuss in finer detail and further consultation outside of this meeting?
Amendment allows for that.
Is that an option, or?
The amended motion, excuse me, Mr Chair, the amended motion provides provision for that at the moment, with the point around directing the officers to work with Ngā Manukanako o Te Iwi. So the motion that we're discussing right now, it allows for that.
Councillor Price.
I just want to clarify what Deputy Mayor Crown said. So are we looking at basically tabling this part of the motion and getting more information or workshopping it? Or because I feel that myself, I haven't got enough information.
So you're speaking against the motion, Councillor Price?
Yeah.
You could say I'm foreshadowing another motion.
I'm happy to speak to the motion at this stage, if you're happy to have that, Mr Chair.
Yep.
Thank you. To me, this is about partnership. And that means that we plan together from the start, we value each other's knowledge equally, and we stay at the table even when it is uncomfortable. So what the proposal in my mind today is, it's a demonstration of gross misjudgment and disrespect, not of just our mana whenua partners, but also of our elected members. A key part of leadership is to bring people along with you, and I've heard from elected members that they themselves have been blindsided by the proposal that was presented. Unfortunately, also lands is disingenuous, with no heads up or discussion with our team, and arguably taking advantage of the fact that close to half of our team are new, and therefore haven't had the opportunity to familiarise themselves with the processes, procedures and pathways to bring proposals like this to our table. These are the things that keep us all safe and ensure good governance and therefore robust outcomes that we can deliver with surety for our community. Even changing the order of the agenda when we know there is significant interest in the item feeds into the perception of looking to reduce the ability for our public to engage on this, declining them the opportunity to present their thoughts on this. It is not in the spirit of our commitment to accountability and transparency, or for providing Māori with the opportunity to contribute to our decision making. Rather than distracting us with this, which I think is very unnecessary, I think that we need to come to a point today where this motion provides us with the ability to move forward, to agree to the other parts of the committee structure that's been given to us, and so that we can actually just get on with doing the work in the interest of serving the people of Napier. Kia ora.
Right. I'm going to speak against the motion. While I understand the partnership and representation side of things, Māori will still have many opportunities throughout our council. We have a Ngā Manukanako committee, which some councils don't have. We have a Matariki governance group where iwi are involved. We have council pre-engagement as stakeholders and partners. Invites to regional collaboration days.
What are you afraid of?
I'm afraid of anything. It's nothing to do with afraid. Yeah. Regular catch-ups and ongoing dialogue with mana ahuriri PSGs and anyone else who wants to come into my office and speak with me. Regular catch-ups with Matt and Bev. We will be asking for a member on the Risk and Assurance Committee from Ngā Mā Nukunuku. Some councils do not offer this as part of their partnership agreements.
Talking about other councils, this council. Come on, Dick.
That's the best you got. Come on. Right. I'll put the motion.
Excuse me, Mr Chair, it would be very helpful for everyone in the room if we could see the motion that we are considering. Otherwise, how do people know what they're voting for?
Can we get that up on the screen?
Have you sent yours through, Councillor Rohania? Thank you.
What do you need? Need Sally's one. Hasn't.
Sending now.
I'll let you go.
Before we go to the vote, Mr Chair, I understand I have a right of reply as you have spoken against it, and I'd like to exercise that if I may.
Certainly.
Thank you very much. I think the key point here is the lack of process, as I mentioned before. There is a level of uncomfortability around this table for people who don't really understand quite the process that we usually, or that we have in the past, enjoyed, which has given elected members oversight, the opportunity to contribute their thoughts into the formation of such a proposal. And I think that, coupled with the partnership and the reputational relationship risk and legal risk as well that we are facing in considering this, that I'm really trying to support my colleagues around the table in order for them to be able to deliver a decision that they can be confident keeps them safe as well.
Recording stopped.
Yep,
Sharing it, so we're going to get printed.
Just a heads up, guys, we're having a few technical difficulties here, so we're looking to get some printed copies out in the very near future. If you just
Adjourning the meeting.
Do we have time to go? Yeah, good idea.
Issuing a invitation.
Yeah. So we're just going to take a 5-minute adjournment until we can get this back to us. the wording, that it is accurate to what they would like in there for C, D and E.
Thank you, I'm comfortable with that.
Correct.
Right. For the amendments for Part C, D and E, I will put the motion out there. All those in favour, say aye.
Aye.
Against?
Yep.
Against. Can I have a show of hands for the against? Sorry? Yeah, call for
Point
division.
of order, Mr. Mayor. Could I request for division?
Yes. So, calling for divisions. Right. So we'll start with, you might need to record this. Yeah, we're going to go around the table or show of hands. Can I'll do it via show of hands if I can.
No.
No, I can't. I have to go around the table.
If you go around the table and you asked.
Yep.
Everything.
I'll start. Councillor Morley, we're going to go around the table for a for and against. So,
Against.
Against?
For.
I abstain. I don't feel knowledgeable enough.
Councillor Mawson?
Abstain.
Right. I'm against.
For.
Well, I'm not going to abstain, but I feel I haven't got enough information, and so I think that voting for it will get it put back on the table,
Kia ora.
and that's what I want.
Councillor Brownlee?
Against.
Crystal?
For.
For.
Councillor?
I was going to say 6.
Could have gone like that.
Right, the amended motion is passed, 6-4. Yep. We'll just let. We'll just adjourn for another couple of minutes.
Kia ora. Tēnā koutou.
There's a happy crowd.
But there's a discussion to be had.
No, it's not. We've just voted for it, and that's what's happening. Voted for.
I'm in an invidious position. I have my views,
What's Q saying?
what they believe is they haven't gone through it. They have committees. Speaking
Yeah, but he could change it.
but no voting rights. And then that way you
Yes. The obvious time, yeah.
Because I think, you know, at the end of the day, the voices.
Now we go back to the room with debate it, basically, don't we?
That's done.
most of us are pretty busy in what we're doing, and to get their perspective, I used to call it
Unless you bring rules of motion in the future.
in my first term.
Yeah.
The way I read Kim is it's
He
fine.
left it.
What's the limit to engage with
Yeah, yeah.
Let's have a cup of coffee and a chat.
Yeah. You know how you exotic flowers?
Plumeria.
Exotic, that's what people call them. And there's those
Tropical.
yeah. What other ones?
We have super.
What else? Yes, the next part. Yeah. Come.
Right, I'll just reopen the meeting. We have this agenda item, the other parts that weren't covered under the foreshadowed motion. I'd just like to note that Councillor Mawson's changed to the name within his portfolio. So do I have a mover and a seconder for this? Deputy Mayor Crown, Councillor Raihania. Is there any further discussion on this? No? I put the matter, I will now put the motion. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Right. We're just going to take another adjournment for a couple of minutes while I sort out all my paperwork that I've got in front of me.
Proper.
Work out.
So, this is a pro.
Oh, yeah.
So we've got Connie. Connie has got
So, everything else.
I'm gonna
close shop there, don't you?
No, you close the shop.
maybe ask some
What's
questions
curious?
about security system stuff.
Will you engage media from
Even on the top one, it's retained.
I don't know, I was fully asking that as well.
You think?
Now we are going.
Click page.
Now we are going to choose it as Connie.
That's the key. Yeah.
Connie. That I need.
That's right. We'll just go to. We'll do our first one first. That's all right. Take a break.
I was like, what is that?
for what would have been item 2, Nelson Quay Wharf Update. The presenter for this report is Connie Whelan Mills. +1. Laura.
You need more than that to present this paper.
Good morning, councillors. The purpose of this paper is really an update to formalise the emails that you've received as part of the urgent correspondence around the Nelson Quay closure. So today I've got Laura Rolls with me. We've kind of got two different roles on the project. So my role here is asset owner of the Inner Harbour infrastructure, so looking after the strategy and investment. And then I'll get Laura to introduce herself.
So I'm strategic project lead within the strategic programs team, and my role is to program manage the Inner Harbour program of works, of which Nelson Quay falls into that.
Cool. So I hope I'm not telling you how to suck eggs with all the email correspondence, but this really just formalises it to put it in the public realm. We've had quite a bit of interest in our temporary closure of Nelson Quay, so there's some background for it. 2018, we did a condition assessment of the Inner Harbour that looked at all of our assets there, and then that progressed into 2022. We had a master plan that was endorsed by the council, and that set a blueprint for how we are going to upgrade the infrastructure there and invest in the Inner Harbour. Back then, we also had some investment set aside in our LTP for the project set aside in the master plan. The master plan had Nelson Quay reinstatement works as one of the #1 projects, so we've always known it's a priority project for us. As part of the discharge wharf works around looking at how we either get discharge wharf more secure or relocate those activities, we went and looked at Nelson Quay, and then that condition assessment told us it's at risk of failure without a seismic event, so it could fail under itself. At that time, we made the decision to shut the quay, and it was a 10-metre setback from the wharf's edge, and that to help make sure that we fulfil our health and safety obligations too. So we've closed one boat ramp. We've worked with the fishing club to offer them other parking areas on the reserve just around the corner. And that is a temporary arrangement. It's council car parking, and it's more of a goodwill to offer them this parking elsewhere to make sure that the boats don't back up in the Ahiriri village. Now over to Laura for our what's next.
So we have engaged some experts to provide two separate reports. The first one is around vessel relocation options for those moored on the Nelson Quay Wharf. So that report was provided in its final form earlier in the week, on Tuesday the 9th. So the cost of to enable the relocation of these vessels is within current budget, and we see that sitting at an operational level for decision making. The report has highlighted that there's no straightforward option for vessel relocation. There are currently 22 vessels moored at Nelson Quay, and we don't, in the current condition that our Inner Harbour is in, we don't have 22 spaces available. So it's likely to be a multi-stage relocation approach. We do have some spaces available immediately, with others requiring work to make them feasible options. We have been working with as Connie mentioned, with the sailing club and the fishing club, and all of the key stakeholders are aware of the situation. We've also been working closely with the property team, and we are aware that some vessel owners have approached the property team directly to request relocation to different locations within the Inner Harbour. In terms of the Nelson Quay remediation options, this is a different engineering report that we have commissioned. It's still in its draft form. at this stage, it's looking like there will be 6 options, ranging from do nothing through to the full master plan vision, and the costs vary, sitting between obviously do nothing and 25 million. At this stage, we are not progressing any of those options. As I said, the report is still in draft. For a pure reinstatement option, this is looking to sit between $8 and $11 million. Funding for the Inner Harbour comes from the endowment fund, from both the sale of Harbour Board properties and the leased income from leasehold properties. So this one project may deplete the kitty, and we may need to either wait to build up the fund again or find alternative funding pathways for anything beyond Miani Quay and Nelson Quay works. We are currently investigating alternative funding pathways too, which range from central government funds through to co-investment opportunities. I also just wanted to highlight that work is ongoing, and we are not looking for any decisions to be made today. This paper is purely just an information update, and we will return to you further in the new year for direction and approval on our recommended option moving forward.
Any questions of the team? Deputy Mayor Crown?
Thank you, through the Mayor. Just one from me. I'm just looking for assurance that the temporary measures that are in place, so the fencing and the public exclusion zones and vessel access, that they are sufficient to satisfy our duties under the Health and Safety at Work Act at the moment.
Yes, that's correct. Oh, sorry, through you, Mayor. That is correct. We're working with our health and safety manager. We've got the isolated the risk, which is the wall failure. We've limited access to vessel owners, and we're also doing regular checks to make sure that that temporary fencing is not pushed down or people are inside.
Councillor Price?
Just a couple of things. Are we putting signage up there to say what's happening?
Through you, Mayor. Yes, we are. We're working on a bit of a storyboard as well, really bring that light to, hey, look, we've had a master plan for this area and we've got investment planned for it. It's endowment investment, it's not ratepayer funded investment. So we're looking at putting those storyboards up very soon.
And what are the consultation plans for the future?
Yeah.
Because people are pretty titchy down there wanting to get on with it, and it might take some time because of cost, but if we can keep them up to date with what's going on, do we have a plan there, please?
Through you, Mayor. Yep, great question around the engagement being undertaken. We're doing it quite, because it wasn't urgent works, we got on the phone to people that were affected and really tried to front foot it all before it hit public realm. In terms of solutions going forward, we'll be looking back to our master plan around what did the community say then? We know that there's gaps. We want to kind of do a refresh of the key stakeholders and come back to them when we have the options. We'll be coming to you as council before that and then taking that out to our community to help influence the option there.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Councillor Morley.
Through the Mayor. I understand that the 2018 structural analysis, there was no actual geotech testing performed, and it was an assumed analysis. Has the latest report, and will that include actual geotech testing? And I'm specifically interested in the depth of the underpinning of the piles. Are they going to be properly tested?
Through you, Mayor. I don't have the full answer for you. I'd want to go and relook at the report in front of us. My understanding is our most recent one on Nelson Quay was informed by geotechnical advice, but I'm not sure on the depth for the pile. So can I come back to you and I'll circulate via email?
That'd be great. Thanks, Connie. Yes, Jess.
I will just add to that through you, Mr. Mayor. We, in terms of having the report peer reviewed, we are currently seeking internal expertise, and we will be guided by them as to whether it is appropriate to seek a peer review of the latest 2025 gap analysis report.
Supplementary. Your reporting has been really, really good to read through, and I really appreciate the mathematical analysis, because MathCAD is a tool that I actually use for my private analysis. So it's good to have such an in-depth mathematical analysis in there, so congrats on that, and kudos to the company that actually used MathCAD to do it.
Thank you.
Right. Any further questions or discussion? Right, where are we on here? Do I have a mover and a seconder for the officer's recommendation?
I'm happy to move.
Councillor Price. Councillor Crystal, would you like to speak to that?
Pretty well said what I wanted to say. It's an unfortunate incident, but let's make the most of it, and the locals certainly want to see us make the most of it with looking at different options as to how we make it, because we've got to remember that there was a Waka hub going there where they saw quite an intense change in it, and I think they'd like to see something pretty good in there too. So thank you.
Right.
No, just onwards and upwards, hopefully. Or downwards, or whatever we're doing.
Any more speakers for or against? Right, the officer's report is titled Nelson Quay Wharf Progress Update. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Right, item 3, Waiheke Redcliffe Bridge Alignment, which is on page 2 of your supplementary agenda. The presenter is Connie yet again. And Darren. Oh, yep. And Darren the Clerk, Deputy Group Manager and Director of Infrastructure Delivery, and David Scrimshaw, I hope I've got that right, Program Delivery Manager Structures. Right.
Cool. Excellent. I'll do a bit of an intro on this paper and the background of the bridge. I know that we workshopped with our last council, so there might be some gaps that I want to make sure our new council is fully all over, and then I'll hand it over to both Darren and David around the project itself. So we've got 2 bridges in Napier that sit on the boundary with Hastings and Napier. We call them boundary bridges. There is the Brookfield Bridge and then the Waiheke Redcliffe Bridge. Napier has very little bridges. We're not a huge bridge asset area, and instead Hastings has a huge amount of bridges, and they have got a really amazing internal capability on managing bridges. So we have signed a MOU that Hastings manages these boundary bridges for us. It's really efficient, it works really well. And then as part of the cyclone works with the bridges unfortunately taken out, that MOU has been extended, and Hastings has been leading the Build Back, or the feasibility of Build Back project on behalf of both Hastings and Napier. So that's why you'll see all of these boundary bridges, a lot of the information is being led by Hastings, but we're 50-50 at the table, we're 50-50 in investment partners in this, and we've got a 50-50 representing our communities too. So with the paper, I'll generally take it as read. Just really want to shine your light to the recommendations. So it's an alignment option. There were a few options originally considered. I think it was 6, right? 6 were considered. They went through a very, very detailed multi-criteria analysis that got pushed down to 3 on what the high-performing alignment options are. So the 3 are, there's 2 at the approximate existing location of where the existing bridge is and the temporary structure, and then the 3rd option is a whole new bridge upstream, and it comes out at the Waiheke golf course, and a whole new road would have to cut through. With that, there's a few price differences as well with our current alignment that sits within our LTP budgets. NZTA are co-funders here. That's a huge amount of co-funding available from NZTA. And then the price difference with going to the 3rd alignment option is about a 20 million deficit, and it's highly unlikely that NZTA would help us support that alternative option, so we'd have to make that up as local share. Local share, again, would be split between Napier and Hastings. As part of a project governance group of this, there's a really tight time frame on the commitment from NZTA funding this, and it has to be built by 2029 if they'll fund the 83%. So to get there, David's doing a really compressed program, and to get that compressed program, we've got a project governance group set up, and that's got representation from Hastings elected members and Napier elected members. And so before we bring decisions to you, to make sure we only bring you good decisions, it goes through that governance, the director level governance first. So at our director level governance, they endorsed option 2C, which is just off kilter of the alignment where it currently is. From here, I might hand it over to these two as they know a lot more about the project. Anything else to add?
Yeah, kia ora and good morning, everyone. We'll probably take it as read and see if you have any questions on it. I think Connie's done a really good summary of kind of where we are and where we're at. So yeah, we'll probably just lean on questions.
Any questions from the team? Councillor Morley.
Through the mayor.
Have you built a scale model already?
Yeah, got one at home. With the existing 8-tonne tier loading and the 30k speed limit on the temporary bridge, what's the expected lifetime?
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, the temporary structure's got a 5-year design life, so that will actually expire in around August 2028. We're actually going to be doing some work in February to strengthen the temporary crossing to ensure that it remains an option. It will still have that weight restriction and speed limit on it. And I guess, yeah, you sound like you've got an engineer's mind, so you can imagine the temporary section in the middle linking into the older pieces of structure on the other ends. They don't actually integrate properly, so there's a whole lot of vibration, and yeah, the structure just doesn't do well. It's pretty fragile, and we need to get a new bridge built.
Supplementary. I assume that the weak point, the loading point, are the piers which have been damaged in the flooding?
Yeah, so it's a 1932-33 build after the original, the Napier earthquake, and they are relatively shallow compared to modern standards, so they sit above the existing aquifer. Any new structure will be much deeper, be quite reflective of what's happening on the expressway dual laning as well, and yeah, the failure of the structure was scour at the piers and then the debris loading on the side of it.
Okay, thanks. And sorry, one more. It's a very quick one. It's more I've read this and noticed something. In figure 1 of the report, the boundary lists Napier District Council when it should actually be City Council. So if that could be corrected, thanks.
Thank you. Sure.
No worries. Councillor Price.
Are you able to just briefly outline how the funding has come for this over why the government are actually giving us a bit more money? Hopefully.
Through you, Your Worship. So yes, we've got emergency works funding that's been released from NZTA, which initially was 20% higher than our traditional funding assistance rate, which in your case is, I think, 51%. So normal terms, emergency works would be 71. About 18 months ago, that was uplifted by another 10%. So we have Hastings has 83% and you have 81% of emergency works funding. It has to meet some really specific criteria to meet that, so it has to be Cyclone Gabrielle impacted and has to be done within a certain time frame. That time frame, as Ms Mills alluded to, is middle of 2029 before we'll revert back to the traditional funding rate. So that is quite a significant impact, obviously, on our local share, which is the 50-50 split of the balance that NZTA do not fund.
Deputy Mayor Crown.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. Thanks for outlining the current project governance arrangements. I'm just wondering what project milestones will require formal governance approval from this table moving forward?
Through you, Your Worship. Look, I think traditionally we've had one meeting of the project governance group, and that is to establish an endorsement of this alignment option. So that allows us now to progress into design. First step of design is to do investigation work like geotechnical investigations and other site investigations. Once we move forward, I think the next logical step would be either to sign off one of the designs, so get some more certainty, or possibly the next step would be procurement. So figuring out how we are going to procure the solution that would pass through the governance group, but because the significance of it being a $50 to $60 million project that would trigger delegations that would require to come back to both councils, but that governance group would represent early decision-making or the pathway to come back to council in the first place, given that we need to be consistent between both councils. We can't have one council picking one option and another the other.
Thank you, that was what I was looking for. Appreciate it.
Right, no further questions? Right, I'll call for a mover and a seconder. Councillor Price. Councillor Lawrence, would you like to
I'll
speak?
say less this time, no, we've pretty well covered it. Thanks, good feedback to everybody.
Anyone else like to speak for or against? No? Right, I put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried.
Good decision.
Right, we're up to item 4 bus stops, are we?
Come on,
One
guys.
presenting us. Right, item number 4, bus stop infrastructure. We have Connie still in the hot seat, so over to you to present.
I've also got Russell Turnbull here. He's the Transport Manager at Hawke's Bay Regional Council supporting this paper. I promise this is my last one to you today as well. I won't take all your time. So again, I'll take it as read, but I'll provide a really high-level summary and really welcome questions throughout. So the overall purpose of the paper is to endorse the new network bus stops. So the way that public transport works is public transport is an activity carried out by our Hawke's Bay Regional Council partners, and then as council asset owners of the local roading network, we have a decision to make on where the infrastructure goes to then support those bus stops rolling out. Cool, so as a bit of background, the new network started back in July 2025. It came to the Regional Transport Committee, which we've got Napier representation on through Councillor Price, and then it came to Council as a workshop as well around this new network. There was a lot of push-pull factors of why we changed the bus network. It's to improve people's access, so there's a bit of a guiding principle of a walkable catchment to the new bus stops, improve frequency, making sure that our community has options in the bus network. Anything else to add to that one?
No, just to confirm that through the whole public transport plan development, there was extensive consultation. There was a lot of work on the ground with 30 plus different community groups, including disabled, including the elderly. There was a lot of opportunity for people to submit online to actually view what the routes look like and drop a pin with their comment. So we received a lot of excellent public comment, which helped us develop the network.
I mean, and through this public feedback, our Napier Transport Alliance team were able to work with the community and adjust a few stops as well to make sure it really fit the need of both where the stops are outside people's properties and then also making sure that it can fit the users of the network. So we had a few adjustments, nothing major. We've got 90 new stops going in and 68 being removed. We only have 2 that we haven't quite made a resolution on, and working with the affected landowners. That's not their land, it is council land, but it is because it's outside of their property. We want to make sure it works for them too. And so as part of this paper, we'd really like your endorsement to continue working with those 2 properties that have been impacted on a resolution there. Excellent.
Any questions or discussions from the team? Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. Sorry, me again. The funding that is set aside from a Napier perspective for the setup of the new bus stops, etc., I think it's 57-ish thousand. Is that sufficient to be able to do the work that's required?
Yes, we think so. We don't have a final quote. From comparison, Hastings has 170 stops and they've budgeted 50-something thousand too. So we've got substantially less stops. We're doing it in a way to be really cost effective in terms of line marking and signage. We'll be reusing signage where possible with the 68 that we're removing. It's just we're still working through that program rollout at the moment. We're not thinking it will even come close to touching that budget.
Councillor Price.
Mine's more a comment. Just Well done, Russell, on your consultation, because I put a few things through to you, or people onto you, and we got good results. I think Councillor Brownlee had one which was resolved really well. So it was good that the consultation worked and everybody got to have a say.
Councillor Crystal.
Yeah, just through the Mayor. From reading this, obviously these bus stops are just the stop where they're not shelters or anything going in, obviously at that price. So it's just kind of an awareness, because when I originally, I thought, gosh, that's a lot of bus shelters, and then I realised it's just actually the stop and the yellow line, but, yeah.
Yeah,
one.
yes,
So we're not replacing any actual bus shelters, or are we moving any?
There's no plan to replace bus shelters. The stops that have shelters aren't being changed at this stage.
Yeah.
Further questions? Yes. Councillor Mawson.
Sorry, just through the Mayor, a little bit down in the weeds, sorry team, but I mean at the end of the day we do represent our community. Just a little bit of a concern with one of the stops in McGrath Street, number 47. My family home was right next door to there, and I've got to tell you there's a tree there at the moment. Is that tree being removed? Or, and just it says outside Downey's Butchery, so I mean, obviously they've got a couple of parks out there that have 10 minutes there, and literally it seems like you'll be parking over a driveway. I'm just trying to look at the pragmatic side of that, please, if you're aware of it.
Yeah, thank you. I would have to look closer to give you a really good answer. We don't have any plans to remove trees as part of this rollout, so I could imagine there might be a stop adjustment. Can I look closer and come back to you?
Sure, I think probably practical would be 49 would be better, but just double checking, yeah. Happy to have that offline. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, no further questions? Right, we've got the recommendation in front of us. Do I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Price, Councillor Taylor, would you like to speak to that?
I've done that, thank you. Good. It's good.
Councillor Taylor. Oh, no, I'm just very pleased to hear the consultation has included elderly. Thank you.
Have you booked a time?
It's not when it's on my place.
Right, would anyone else like to speak for or against? Right, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried.
Okay. Thank you.
Where are we now? We must be down to
We go back to
this item. Oh, that is actually item 5, aren't we?
second jumping.
Yep. Is that item 4 though? Makes a difference. Well, we've got our items. Right, next item, 2026 proposed council and committee meeting schedule. The presenter is Anna Eadie.
Kia ora again. So the purpose of this report is to present to Council the proposed meeting schedule for adoption as per the requirements in the Local Government Act and the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act. So we've taken the committee structure that the Mayor has put in place and plotted out meetings for the 2026 year. These can be amended at any time as need be. So yeah, I'm quite happy to take any questions people may have about this.
Deputy Mayor Crown.
Thank you, through you, Mr Mayor. I just wanted to check, do you have an overlay of clashes? I was thinking things like regional collaboration days, blah, 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 you know.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Through the Mayor, we've got a very messy calendar that has all the LGNZ conferences and et cetera plotted into it.
Okay, cool.
And if this is approved as is, or if amendments are made, obviously all those things will end up in your calendars along with the invitations to the collaboration days and conferences, et cetera.
Right. No further questions? Can I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Brownlee, Councillor Simpson, would either of you like to speak to it? Anyone else? Right, I'll put the matter. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. The next item is elected members' childcare and home security system allowance. And the presenter again is Anna Eadie
Kia ora.
and Andrew Wallace.
Yeah. So the purpose of this report is to present the options for childcare and home security system allowance for elected members, which the local government elected members' determination allows for. Elected members are entitled to a range of allowances on top of their salary as stipulated by the Remuneration Authority. These allowances are paid at the discretion of council, and council previously has tried to strike a balance between the overall rates demand and enabling people from the community with specific needs to be able to stand for council. In the current determination, councils can allow up to $7,500 per year per eligible child for childcare. In consultation with the Mayor, we're recommending this remains as it has been for the last 2 triennia, which is $2,000 per child per annum, or per qualifying child, I should say, per annum. The home security allowance is a new allowance. It's just been introduced. So many local government elected members are experiencing significant incidences of abuse, harassment and threatening behaviour while undertaking their public roles. Due to being contractors, you're required to provide for your own health and safety. So this allowance is looking to help with that situation. So the allowance, elected members would qualify for the allowance based on a security threat lodged with the Napier City Council Health and Safety team and a subsequent risk assessment. The maximum allowed by the authority for purchase and installation of a system is $4,500, and then $1,000 per year to pay for monitoring, call-outs and repairs. The risk assessment could be carried out by police or a security company recommended by our health and safety team to confirm the security risk. And this assessment should also identify the necessary security controls and measures required to protect people and property. I'm happy to take questions on the paper.
Councillor Taylor.
Thank you, through your worship. In relation to the security allowance, the process that you've described to us today with the introduction or the use of the police or a security company and this whole process, has this process the same as used by central government, or is this a process that Napier City has formulated? Is my first question.
Okay. Through the Mayor, this process is stipulated by the Remuneration Authority. I'm not sure about central government, what process they have. I can look to find that out. What I do know is that councils prior to this allowance being put in place have chosen to fund security systems or components for their elected members. But this allowance and in this policy, this is the process that the Remuneration Authority requires us to follow.
Through your worship, I'm happy with the answer, but I would like to make comment later after questions in relation to this policy.
Yes. Any further questions?
Through the Mayor. Is there a weighted matrix or anything like that of online versus face-to-face threats or risks of assessment?
I don't have that detail, I'm sorry. The threat would be to people or property, so I guess it would depend. To me, it wouldn't matter whether it was in person
Maybe I
or
can,
online, but...
Jump in here, thank you. So, I mean, if we were in this position, we would be involving the police and taking the direction from police on how they wish to proceed with any threat assessment work.
Any further questions? Not, we'll come back to Councillor Taylor.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. I'm not going to vote against the paper or the resolution. I just think it's a very ambulance at the bottom of the cliff approach to security rather than proactive, because many incidences, and Councillor Price and I, with our police background, many instances are spontaneous, and so they happen, and putting assessing the risk afterwards and putting a camera in afterwards is like an ambulance at the bottom of the cliff. If someone's house is firebombed, worst case scenario, then a camera put in later, an assessment done by the police or a security firm later, does not prevent that. So I believe that if a person perceives risk, that it's a personal thing, they perceive the risk, then they should have the opportunity to mitigate the risk. Thank you.
And there would be nothing precluding an individual from taking their own action around that. This is just how it's been written by the Remuneration Authority.
I appreciate
But again, if you...
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry?
I'll just add to that if any of you ever feel that there is a risk or a perceived risk, then please contact us directly and we will be proactive in how we respond to that.
And also through the chair, just to confirm that on those occasions where officers are made aware of that, we do a risk assessment, and we've done that for at least the last 9 months or so.
Councillor Morley.
I'm not against the paper, but I do have a problem in accepting ratepayer money, which many may perceive as personal gain or benefit. So that's my main concern with the allowance. And the childcare allowance, to me, is discriminatory because there's many personal circumstances and scenarios that looking after elderly or pets or whatever, that aren't compensated. So
it might be better for the debate side of things, Councillor Morley.
Thank you, Your Highness.
With what I have heard pre the meeting is I might look to separate these two parts out, and we'll vote on them separately. Any further questions or discussion?
Through the Mayor. Firstly, thank you so much. When I read this, I was like, oh, wow, because I am going to agree with Councillor Graham Taylor. There are many perceived threats, particularly for women, and so to wait to be risk assessed almost leaves us, as someone with family and kids and young tamariki at my house, in a position of threat potentiality. So I guess in terms of my support of Councillor Graham, and this is not a question per se, more so I would like more to be looked into about that particular concept of applying a risk assessment once you perceive a threat, because the risk is actually very real. I get social media attacks all the time, and that's partially why I'm also asking for further clarification to that point.
So through the chair, I can answer that, as I think we've said before. So there's two separate parts to this. This is the paper and the direction from the Remuneration Committee. So this is a part of process. We have our own process. If you feel that there are any issues or threats, then if you let me know or Anna, then we will deal with those. That's an internal process. So we can absolutely help with you with that now, and that's separate to this. So there's two parts. So please pass on if you screenshot or you share any of those things directly with Anna, Andrew or myself. We will deal with those separately. It's a separate aspect to this.
Any further questions? You might have to help me out here, Gemma, when I split this out, because we've got receives, and I want to do the first bit on the childcare. Yep. So we'll just do A and B together. So what the recommendation I will put on the table will be for Part A and Part B, number 1, which is the childcare part of the policy. So that'll be the first part. Do I have a mover and a seconder to put that on the floor?
Is it to separate them?
Yeah.
We're moving that.
To just move these first, A and Part 1 of Part B. So just receiving the report and the child care allowance part. Councillor Taylor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Councillor Rohania? Would you like to speak?
Yeah, it's a procedural matter. We're receiving the report. We're not disagreeing with it, and we're adopting what has been in place in relation to the childcare allowance, which has been in place in the past. And I acknowledge Councillor Morley's concerns. However, this is a procedural matter to adopt an allowance policy, an expenses policy. Whether that policy is utilised or those allowances are claimed for is a personal decision. So I actually don't see why we have to pull the home security part out of it, because it's just a policy that, as the council officer has said, has been established by the Remuneration Authority. So this is very procedural. Again, it is personal whether you apply for those allowances. So I'm happy to move the first two parts, as that's how your worship wishes to deal with it.
Yep. Seconder like to speak for Councillor Mawson?
So just a bit of clarification on Councillor Taylor's point. We developed this policy, but we did change things within the policy, and I thought that there was an opportunity to actually say we don't agree with the policy. But in general, so I'm actually going to speak against, because I actually don't, I fundamentally feel that this is, our staff don't get benefit and so forth. And I feel that, personally, I don't take that subsidy, even though I have the ability to do so. I think that it's just fundamentally it's wrong for me, so I'm going to speak against the policy in general.
Okay, yep. Anyone else like to speak for or against? No. I'll put the motion forward. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against?
Right. And can I have that noted? Thank you.
Yep. So Councillor Mawson and Councillor Morley
And Brownlee.
Have voted against. Right. For the second part of the recommendation, the home security side, which is B Part 2 and Part 3. Do I have a mover and a seconder? Deputy Mayor Crown and Councillor Mawson, would you like to speak?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just briefly, for me, it's about the intent of this policy, and I think it's pretty damn embarrassing that a remuneration authority even has to go to this length. It speaks to the real experiences that people who are trying to serve their community are experiencing in our line of work, and yeah, I couldn't agree with it more, unfortunately.
Councillor Mawson?
Yeah, just through the mayor. Couldn't have said it better myself. Well done, Councillor. Fully agree. From Deputy Mayor Crown.
Would anyone else like to speak to the recommendation? No? I'll then put the motion. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Right. The next item. Oh, these guys can leave the hot seat. Class 4 gaming machine relocation application. The presenter for this is Stephen Bockerink. Did I get that correct? Excellent. And Simon Bradshaw.
Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Stephen Bockerink tōku ingoa. I'm the team leader for compliance. So today we have a report regarding a Class 4 gaming machine relocation application. You might wonder why you're looking at this. The Gambling Act allows territorial authorities to determine where gaming machines, aka pokies, go within its community, and also TAB venues within its district. The council in October last year passed a gambling venue policy, which I've included with the paper, that provides for a sinking lid approach to gambling machines, with the intent that as gambling machines come out of service or as venues no longer operate, then the number of gaming machines trends downwards. However, the policy does allow for relocation of existing gambling machines where criteria have been met. So I'll take the paper as read. This is a request from the Lion Foundation to relocate gaming machines from the Art Deco Masonic, which is also the Rose on 2 Tennyson Street, to the Pavilion Bar, which is just across the road on 49 Marine Parade. In accordance with the Gambling Act, Napier City Council consent is required prior to relocating the gaming machines. We've assessed the application against our policy and believe the criteria are met. There's a couple of notes there to being an upgraded venue. We think on balance the proposed building is more modern, and council may consider it to be an upgraded venue. The operator licence holder needs to be the same, that is the Lion Foundation 2008. The relocation needs to be within the same or specified zones within the proposed district plan, which is met because they are both locations within the city centre zone. The relocation needs to be consistent or not inconsistent with the purpose of the policy. Part of the policy is around reduction of gambling-related harm. We contacted the Problem Gambling Foundation for information on that particular point, and that's provided in the paper. The anecdotal evidence from them, at least, or the comments from them, is that strong sinking lid policies are correlated with a reduction in gambling-related expenditure. However, they pointed to less evidence per se regarding relocation policies, but it could undermine the benefits of a sinking lid if the relocation increased visibility, access, foot traffic, or moves to higher levels of deprivation within the community. We noted the deprivation level has got a decile 9 within the CBD. 1 is the least deprived, 10 is the most deprived. So this paper seeks direction from you as to whether to grant the relocation, given the aspects of the policy are met, and the decision sits with council to provide direction as to whether to approve or decline the application. Through the chair, that's happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, team?
Happy to move.
I might just have a question first. You mentioned about the harm or the spending with the sinking lid policy. Would I be correct in thinking that the evidence shown in Napier over the years is as we reduce machines, the spend has gone up?
I don't have those stats to hand. If I look back at when the gambling policy was passed in October, I imagine council at that time will have been presented evidence around gambling-related harm prior to making that decision. Happy to take that question away and come back to you.
Okay, that's all right. Right, any more questions or discussion? Councillor Mawson, you want to move this? Do I have a seconder? Councillor Taylor, would you like to speak to it?
I think it's pretty clean and rather procedural.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I'm particularly interested in the rating the deprivation decile 9 out of 1 to 10, and so it's not a deprived area. It will be interesting to see, and perhaps a question in the future is the revenue that is generated with the difference that might come from the Masonic premises to the pavilion. That can only benefit community organisations who then can receive grants from the Lion Foundation. So, thank you.
Right. Any other speakers for or against? I will now put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Oh, where are we? Down here. Extension of District Licensing Committee contract. The presenter is Stephen again, and Simon's still with us.
Got a conflict here. That's Graham.
Yeah, Councillor Price and Taylor have got a conflict with this. Look, for what it is, I'm happy for you guys to sit in the room, and but not get involved with any discussion that may come out of it.
Through the chair, this is again is a fairly procedural issue regarding the extension of the District Licensing Committee contracts. The District Licensing Committee, or DLC, is required under the Sale and Supply of Alcohol Act. The function is to consider and determine matters relating to alcohol licence applications and manager's certificates, particularly where there is opposition or objection from the community, which tends to require a hearing. The current members are listed in the paper. We're looking to council to approve extension of those members. We're recommending to the Chief Executive that the current Commissioner is appointed again for the 25-28 period. We're seeking to approve Councillor Graham Taylor as the Deputy Chair of the DLC and to approve officers to commence a recruitment process for 2 further members of the DLC list. So while the current list of members is enough to form a quorum of 3, we believe that to cover contingencies and to provide some redundancy within the list, that 2 further members would be useful on that list. Also, in recognition of Dave Fallows, has tendered his resignation from the committee as an existing member. So the members that remain are Stuart Hilton, Ross Pinkham, Councillor Keith Price and Councillor Graham Taylor. Options considered are to extend the contracts as is, extend and direct us to seek additional 2 members, or to not extend the contracts for the DLC. Preferred option is to extend and get 2 further members. And happy to take any further questions.
Any questions, team? Councillor Simpson.
Yeah, through you, Mr Mayor. While we consider getting additional applicants, my question would be around the allowance for the members of the committee. When were the allowances last, and I appreciate that's out of our hands, I think that's a central government decision, but when were those allowances or daily rates last reviewed by central government?
I don't have the exact date, but they are set through the Remuneration Authority and the Ministry of Justice and ALA, I believe. So they've been set for quite some time, possibly when the legislation's happening. I just noticed my director's standing up, so probably has more information.
No, you answered that absolutely correctly, Stephen. It is set by the Remuneration Authority. local government have at times submitted for that to be considered by the government, but those items haven't made made the cut, and we know that those allowances are well past a review time, and we do advocate for them to be considered and to be reviewed, but in terms of priorities for the government, it's not there, I'm afraid.
Thank you. Any further questions or discussions? Can I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Mawson. Councillor Simpson, would you like to speak to this?
Yeah, just congratulate our two on the committee already, and good luck in trying to find more upstanding members of the community like these two here.
Councillor Simpson, would you like to?
Yeah, no, I'm more than happy with the report and the planned course of action.
Would anyone else like to speak? No? All right, I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye.
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 Against? Carried. Way down here. This is starting my paper. Yeah, okay, I'll remain here.
I love this one.
Right, our next agenda item is the withdrawal and archiving of the fire hydrant policy 2018 on page 50 of your agenda. And the presenters today will be Jean-Paul Kumbara and Andrew Gass.
Kia ora koutou. I'm Andrew Gass, Team Leader Compliance, and we've got John Ball, our Drinking Water Compliance Officer, to present the paper seeking your approval to withdraw and archive our fire hydrant policy. John Ball.
The main purpose of withdrawing this fire hydrant policy 2018 is because of the new rules came in, Drinking Water Quality Assurance Rule 2022. The fire hydrant access and usage is strictly limited to fire emergency and for Napier staffs, only for emergency situation and for testing purpose or flushing purposes. So to align with the Drinking Water Quality Assurance Rule and make the Drinking Water Quality Assurance Rule compliant, we like to seek approval from Council to withdraw this drinking water fire hydrant policy.
Yep. Great. Any questions or discussion? Yep. No. Right, can I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Crystal, Councillor Lawrence, would you like to speak to this?
It just seems a very procedural thing to do, and yeah, that's it.
Councillor Lawrence? Would anyone else like to speak for or against? Right. I'll now put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Right, I think we might just take another break for a couple of minutes before we get into our next item. So fill up your glasses, take a breath. And our next item on the agenda is the quarterly performance report on page 53 of your agenda. And the presenter for the report today is Talia Foster, and Carolyn Thompson is going to join here. All right.
Kia ora. So the quarterly performance report is a report that we bring to council every quarter. It's normally delivered in two parts. Due to the organisational redesign, we have not provided the detailed second section this time round. And one of the key reasons for that is due to the significant changes we have need to make in our general ledger for the redesign. So rearranging cost centres and rearranging budgets, which is still in progress. In terms of the financials, the year-to-date net operating shortfall of 6.9 million is 6.2 million unfavourable to the budgeted deficit of 0.7 million. This is due to a combination of factors, and part of this is budget phasing and those cost centre changes that I talked to already. Other than that, I shall take the report as read. Thank you.
Right, any questions or discussion? Anyone? Deputy Mayor Crown.
Thank you very much, through the chair. I noted, well, something that stood out to me was the performance or current performance of our commercial facilities, understanding that they're going through a review process at the moment. I was wondering how we're responding to that performance and how it might be affecting overall strategy as we move forward.
In terms of overall financial strategy, it will require us taking out additional external loans to cover that. Those facilities are already loan funded, however. It's just in regards to the cash flow required for that, and that may be partially offset by changes in the capital program as well. And it could also affect some of our prudence measures, such as the balanced budget benchmark and interest or revenue to debt ratios as well. In terms of what the facilities are doing, I'll hand over.
Yep. And I was just going to chip in as well, but I'm not sure if Thunus wanted to do. You'll probably say the same as me.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Just wanting to mention that, yes, we are very aware of our performance at this stage for our commercial facilities. What just needs to be kept in mind is that we've set quite stretched targets for our commercial facilities, and we are finding it difficult to get to those stretch targets. So what we are doing is we are setting up a commercial governance group that's going to assist us with having a look at what are we doing with the facilities and are there anything else that we can do to try and reach those targets. What we're also doing with the same governance group is to look after our commercial facilities and the reimagined facilities, where we're going out to the market to check if we get somebody else come and help us. So all I can say about this is watch this space, because we will be coming back early the new year with a report on a reviewed way forward.
Any further questions or discussion? Councillor Price.
Just, I'm trying to find it. NZTA owes us a few $1 million, is that? And is that normal, and when does that come?
I'm not sure of the amounts. It is due to internal delays in putting through the claims. So it's not normal that they would hold back funds, which hasn't happened. And the delays, I believe, are again around redesign and just new people and roles, but it will be happening soon.
So we would expect to receive that in the next quarter, or this current quarter that we're in now. So you'll see it come through in the next report.
Thank you.
Any further questions? No further questions. Can I have a mover? Do you want
I just had a question about the capital expenditure. It's quite low. The actual's quite low to the budget. What's out there that's outstanding, really, that you?
And the key reason that the actuals are low compared to budget is due to the phasing of the budgets, where we're just getting a bit more of an understanding of the timing of the program for the current year. The teams have been advising me that the full year spend should be achieved by next June, but we just need to correct the timing in the budget.
Thank you.
Can I have a mover and a seconder for the officer's recommendation? Deputy Mayor Crown. Councillor Crystal. I'll put the motion. Oh, sorry. Actually, would you guys like to speak to this?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
I'm fine too, thank you.
Anyone else? Right. I put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Right. Our next one is Action Points Register as of the 4th of December 2025. And we have Anna Edie back to present this one.
Kia ora koutou. I just wanted to highlight, unfortunately, the wrong attachment was put in the agenda. So this was the one in the agenda is the Action Points Register from the last council meeting. I circulated the correct attachment to you all yesterday, so I hope you've been able to see that. There's been an update for Action 171, which is in relation to the Holt Planetarium. Staff are meeting with the Holt Planetarium group later today and are aiming to bring a paper back to a meeting in the new year with the preferred option. Happy to take questions if there's any others.
Deputy Mayor Crown.
Thank you. Through the chair, it's really a comment. I was wondering if we could start having a traffic light with our action register. I've noticed, like, comparing the one that was published previously, and some things are ageing, and it would just be nice as it fills up for us to have the old red, amber, green, so that we can, it just draws attention easier for us to understand where things are at.
Okay, yes, we can look at implementing that.
Thank you.
Any further questions? I can have a mover and a seconder. Councillor Mawson, Councillor Isaac Sharlin, like to speak to this?
Just in particular, looking forward to the stuff that staff will bring us through for the senior parking.
Right. Is it no? No one else? Right, I now put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. We move on to tenders let, I think it is, or have I jumped the... Oh, I've gone too far. Official information requests as of 18th of November 2025, and this is with you, with Anna again.
Kia ora. Yes, happy to take questions on these if anybody has some.
No questions. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Taylor, Councillor Lawrence, would you like to speak to this?
Thank you.
Anyone else? I'll now put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Now we're at tenders? Yep, right. Tenders. I'll do it after tenders, Right. We'll carry on with the next item. We'll come back to the minor matter. So we've got tenders let at page 100 in your agenda, and the presenter for the report is Russell Bond.
Good morning. I'm happy to take the report as read, and if you've got any questions.
Any questions, team? No? Can I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Mawson? Councillor Price, would you like to speak to this? Thank you. Councillor Price, anyone else? Councillor Morley?
I'm going to abstain from the vote, in particular to the tender for the Emerson Street contractor. I have no problem with the contractor, but I am void of sufficient information on the project itself, and I am not able to make a considered decision. In saying that, I am meeting with staff responsible on Monday, and hopefully have some of those questions resolved. But in the meantime, I cannot make an informed decision on this matter, and I'd like that noted too. Thanks.
Through the chair, it's to receive the reports, not make decisions. So these are tenders that have been let, just to clarify.
Yep. It is just to receive the report.
Okay.
That's right. I'll now put the motion. Yeah. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against?
Abstain.
Still abstaining. Right. Thank you. We're now going to come back to our minor matter that we had earlier on with regards to Bledisloe School. Did we have anything written down for that? Yep. Yep. Being a minor matter, we can't make a decision today, but we can do it as an action point. And for me, as a starting point, it is that we go back and we work with the school, meet with the school, and see if we can come up with a plan moving forward. So would anyone else like to add or anything into that? Councillor Taylor?
Yeah, thank you. I didn't want to prolong it earlier because of this, but as a user of that particular piece of road, pretty much daily, there is absolute congestion outside the school on Miani Road. We have had presentations from the high school in relation to Murphy and various things, and I think it's not just us having a discussion with the school about. I think we need the actual transport team and road engineers to start investigating alternatives, because with all those schools emptying or opening and cars there at 8:30 till 9, there's cars trying to come out of Bledisloe School. There's, as you know, there's so many red lights run, and then literally another couple of hundred yards up the road, you've got the traffic coming in and out of the intermediate, etc. So I think it's one that we, not just us as elected members in discussion, we need our roading team and our roading engineers to really investigate the whole lot of congestion on Miani Road, particularly around the Murphy Road lights, and come up with an alternative. It's just becoming a nightmare for Taradale residents.
Can I step in there? So I've had a conversation already with my ops and transport manager, so it is on his radar, and he will talk to the teams. I completely agree. I think we need to look at the whole area. And obviously, we can't make any decisions because you don't want to do one thing that then has unintended consequences sort of down the road or in a different area. So I think we'll hand it over to them and they will engage with the appropriate parties and review the options and come back to you with an update around what that piece of work looks like.
Excuse me, they've come up with some options, right? And one of them was to put some yellow lines in there. I think we've got to get back to them straight away on that. Someone's got to have a real good look at that straight away. You can put a team together and do whatever you like, but you've got to deal with what they're talking to us about at this point, and then after that, go through your other options, because that yellow line might be just a simple thing you can do to save something that's there at this point.
Yeah. I guess what we have to do is let our team do the assessment of the whole area rather than piece by piece. But what we can give is a commitment to the school that we are going to do this, and Graham had some good words behind it before, and I'd like some assistance with how we actually word this so we do get it to our team and that it does come back to us.
I'm happy to communicate and back with the party who came and presented today to let them know what we're doing and give them a time frame around when we'll communicate with them back more fully, but to let them know either whether we can do something more immediately for a temporary solution, whether that is available or not, and what the time frame around coming back to them with a more wholesome, fulsome kind of response looks like.
Yep.
So I can commit to doing that.
Yeah, but I guess part of this was they've come to us with some ideas, and that we actually go back to them and discuss these ideas with them as well, and don't exclude them from what we're looking at. Councillor Taylor.
Yeah. I don't disagree with what Councillor Brown is saying, but the traffic there don't worry about red lights, so I'm not going to worry about a yellow line. And the other part is we've got a real opportunity that the schools are shutting very shortly for a long period of time. There won't be the congestion over the school holidays, so that's a time for us to act. So.
I don't think we want to commit to anything that we can't deliver on, so it's a case of letting them know that we've heard them, give them a time frame around when we'll come back to them, and just keep them informed so we can commit to doing all of those things, and I'll just let them know that we will get back to them.
Words around this one. Yep, okay. Councillor Crystal.
And also, as part of their options, to include looking at that area where the bowling club, and whether there is opportunity to use that as a drop-off place for Bledisloe School.
And that's
needs to be part of it.
That's part of the information they gave us, so hence I said we need to go back and work with them with the info they've given us as well. Yeah. So we'll put some words around this as an action point.
Through you, Mr Mayor, can we, at the simplest level, I know and I agree with the course of action, but at the simplest level, can we have a clarification as to on what grounds the traffic team turned down the yellow line, so that we have an understanding of that space?
Yep, we can ask that as a question of the traffic team. Councillor Morley.
I'm not familiar with the Bledisloe School issue, but Napier Girls High resolved their congestion problems on Clyde Road by behavioural change, and that was dropping students off at, say, the Cathedral or the bottom of Coot Road. Perhaps that could be one model we investigate, is educating whoever's dropping off the kids.
Yep. Councillor Price.
Just a point for Jess, is I think about 4 or 5 years ago, there's quite a survey done, wasn't there? And that, you recall it? There was quite a bit of work done, which will be on record somewhere.
Taradale High School presented to us.
That was more Murphy Road than Bledisloe, but
so
the whole area is chaos and mayhem. Yep. All right, look, Councillor Crystal.
Just to follow up on that, it was both. They presented and we put together a project that we put forward to the government funding agency, and that one didn't get it. Carlisle Street got it. So there is actually a really good study that our staff did and put together to the government. So that, it's worthwhile pulling that up.
Yep. Okay.
Just through the Mayor, I just want to make a point that I think we should note that this should be treated with urgency in some shape or form, and agree with Councillor Taylor about the opportunity of coming up with a solution over the school holidays.
Yeah, good. yeah, again, when it comes to traffic safety, sometimes rushing in isn't always the best in doing siloed responses, but well worth a look. Jess may be able to get her team to...
So through the chair probably would help. We do have a shutdown period over the next 2 weeks, so also putting that into context, I think what you've heard from Jess is we've heard the message clearly. We also understand there's a lot of work being done in the past. We will correspond directly with those presenters, and obviously we need to look at it as a whole system solution, and we will try and progress those things that we can as quickly as we can.
Thank you. Right. No, we have to... Right. We're going to the next part of our meeting, which is recommendation to exclude the public. So that the public be excluded from the following parts of the proceedings of this meeting, namely water services, land purchase, Hiratonga Water Storage Project shareholders' participation, Awatoto wastewater outfall replacement. Right, can I have a mover and a seconder? Rock, paper, scissors. Mover, seconder. All those in favour, say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. We will now move into public excluded.